Welcome. Today we're going to discuss data collection methods, and that's chapter 6 in the text. So there's 4 major types of the collection modes. We can have a person ask questions either face-to-face or over the telephone, and sometimes they're assisted with a computer. A second alternative is we use a computer to completely accomplish the questioning. A third is to have respondents fill out a questionnaire themselves without computer assistance. And then the fourth is some combination of those modes. A person-administered survey is where an interviewer reads the questions either face-to-face or over the telephone to the respondent and then records the answers. Person-administered surveys have some unique advantages. They offer feedback, rapport, some quality control, and adaptability. On the other hand, there are drawbacks to using human interviewers, including human error, slowness, cost, interview evaluation. And this is where the respondents have concerns that they are not answering the questions correctly. A computer-administered survey is one in which computer technology is used in the interview work, and it will assist or even completely eliminate the need for a personal interviewer. There are several advantages of computer-administered surveys. They're fast. They're usually error-free interviews. You can use pictures, videos, and graphics. You have real-time capture of data. And you have the reduced anxiety caused by interview evaluation. Again, where the respondents have some sort of concern that they're not answering the questions correctly and they don't appear smart or something like that. Some of the disadvantages of computer-assisted surveys are the costs can be significant and they require some level of technical skill. A third type of survey is a self-administered survey, and that's where the respondent completes the survey on their own. And it's different from other surveys in that there's no agent, either human or computer, helping with the interview. Some of the advantages of self-administered surveys reduce cost, the respondent's in control, and again, there's no interview evaluation apprehension. Some of the disadvantages are the respondents will make errors. They may misinterpret things. There's no supervision, and so you're not sure that all the questionnaire will be answered or all the questions you need to have answered will be answered. And it makes a lot of demand on perfectly understood questionnaires because there's no one there to explain something that's vague to the respondent. And finally, the last type, the fourth type of data collection method is a mixed mode survey, also known as a hybrid survey. And they're increasingly popular because of the efficiencies of computer administered methods, and also the respondents end up preferring this. The advantage of mixed mode surveys is the researchers are able to use the disadvantages of each of the other modes to achieve a better collection result. Some of the disadvantages, the advantages are they address most of the other disadvantages, but one important disadvantage of using mixed mode or hybrid data collection is that complexity increases. So here's a description of the data collection modes. An in-home interview. The interviewer conducts the interview in the respondent's home. Usually you make an appointment by telephone ahead of time. Mall intercept interviews. Shoppers in a mall may take part in a survey. And then in-office interviews. The interviewer conducts interviews with managers in the respondent's place of work. In some of the other data collection modes, a central telephone interview, interviewers work in a data collection company's office. Computer-assisted telephone, the questions are programmed for a computer screen, and then the telephone interviewer reads them sequentially. Fully computerized interview is a computer is programmed to administer the questions. So the respondents will interact with the computer rather than with a person who's assisted by the computer. And here we see an example of a computer-assisted telephone interview by a professional in a survey office. Some more methods, online surveys. Respondents fill out a questionnaire and it's administered over the internet. Mail survey, that's where you use the postal system to mail surveys to individuals, and they mail them back. A group administered survey, in a group context, a group of people will take the survey. This means that they work individually, but they meet as a group. So this allows the researcher to economize. They don't have to go to 10 people's individual houses. They have the people come to them. And then the drop-off survey, self-administered questionnaire in this case. So which survey method should you use? Well, some of the important questions to consider when deciding which survey method to use: how much time do you have for data collection? How much money do you have for data collection? What type of respondent interaction is required? And are there special considerations to take into account? Traditionally, if the short time horizon is the overwhelming consideration, telephone surveys were often selected because they're very fast. Today, online surveys are also exceptionally fast, and they can accommodate all but the physical handling of products or other things that are of interest to the researcher. In-home personal interviews and mail surveys are poor choices when time is critical because they take a long time. Then how much money do we have? Well, with technology costs dropping and internet access becoming commonplace, online survey research options have become attractive when the data collection budget is very austere. Other survey collection or data collection methods that are relatively inexpensive include central location telephone surveys, mail surveys, and self-administered surveys. Another question we have to consider is what type of respondent interaction is required. And the type of interaction with the respondent will affect the collection method decision. If respondents only need verbal communication, telephone interviewing will work. If the respondent needs to view photos of a logo or a magazine ad, mail surveys or online surveys may be considered. If the respondent is actually required to handle, touch, feel, or taste a product, the mall intercept company services are usually the best approach. And if a respondent is required to actually use a product in a realistic setting, in-home surveys or interviews may be the only data collection method that will work. And finally, are there special considerations to take into account? The incident rate, which is the percentage of the population that possesses some characteristic necessary to be included in the survey, for example, registered voters, might be a special consideration. In low incidence situations where you don't have a lot of people that have the characteristic you're looking for, a data collection method that can easily and inexpensively screen respondents is required. So more about the special considerations. The data collection method choice is sometimes influenced by cultural norms. In Scandinavia, for example, residents are uncomfortable allowing strangers in their homes. Therefore, telephone and online surveying is more popular than door-to-door interviewing. Some of the advantages and disadvantages of the various types. In-home interview, this facilitates interviewer-respondent rapport as an advantage. A disadvantage is it's highly costly, and you can get a lot of information from each interview. Mall intercept interview, fast and convenient. Major disadvantage, only mall patrons are interviewed. In-office interview, that's useful for interviewing busy executives or managers. Relatively high cost is a disadvantage for it. Central location, telephones, fast turnaround, good quality control, reasonable cost. It's restricted to telephones. A computer-assisted telephone interview, the computer helps reduce error, but the setup costs can be high. And then the fully computerized interview, respondents take it at their own pace, but they have to have computer savvy. And then online survey, ease of creating and posting. Again, disadvantage, respondents must have access to the internet. Mail survey, low cost. Disadvantage, slow response. Takes a long time for a mail survey. Group administered survey, cost of the interviewer is reduced. It's economical, but you must find groups and secure permission to conduct the survey. And then finally, the drop-off survey, the cost of the interviewer is eliminated, and it's appropriate for a local market, generally not appropriate for large national surveys. So the choice of survey method revolves around this question: what data collection method will generate the most complete and generalizable information within the time constraints and without exceeding the budget? Okay, any questions on Chapter 6?